Fore presented by Barstool Sports. We are back. We got a lot to get to. It's been a huge weekend yet again. It feels like in golf, in the golf world, and then on top of that, in the foreplay world, we just got a lot of shit going on ourselves. We got a huge match against Max Homa tomorrow. We're recording on Monday, but when you guys are listening to this, we got a Tommy Fleetwood video of us playing alternate shot with him. That's hilarious, and the promo I think is going to be phenomenal. That comes out tonight, Tuesday night. We've got a phenomenal interview on this show with Matt Duchene, stud in the NHL for the Nashville Predators, was Colorado Avalanche for a while, was Columbus Blue Jackets for a little bit, and boy, was that a really good conversation. Then we just recorded an interview with JJ Redick that I believe is going to go out into Thursday's show, which we're all giddy about as well because it went that well. And something happened in the Saudi League where every person in the history of golf has released a statement, it feels like, in the last week, and combined with Phil Mickelson comments coming out, excerpts from Alan Shipnuck's book where he calls the Saudis scary motherfuckers, Rory, shit. We just got a lot to get to. So, boys, where should we start? Where do you guys want to start?
I think let's start with the Saudi League stuff, because that I feel like is is what's on everyone's mind, because I think the Saudi League is dead.
So it feels like for a year or so that there was a little bit of chatter going on, but it was always below the surface. And people were kind of like, yeah, I heard about it's Saudi-backed Super League. It's PGA Tour's pretty supplanted as like the golf league. I don't know. And then about, 3 weeks or so ago, things started to get pretty real. And then about a week ago, there were reports that 17 guys, 20 guys, depending on who you listen to, were signed, dealed, done, delivered. Saudi League, it's going to be a team concept. It's going to start maybe late spring this summer. Some big names. Bryson was rumored with a $135 million offer. DJ was always rumored as one of the guys that could jump ship. And things started to kind of fester pretty fucking good. And then last week, we had John Rahm sort of started a lot of it, where he put out a statement almost like it was WWE, like we had NWO and where he pledged his allegiance to the PGA Tour. And then that sort of started last week. A bunch of dominoes were falling for others coming out and defending and pledging their allegiance to the PGA Tour, from Colin Morikawa and a bunch of different names. Tiger's already done it. Rory's already done it. Brooks Koepka's done it. Spieth, JT, all kind of, committed to the PGA Tour. Then we had these excerpts came out mid-late last week from Phil Mickelson that have, I believe, sort of brought on a lot of people piling on and shitting on Phil Mickelson that it feels like for decades have been waiting to do this. And This is just the reason that they're doing it. You can tell when some of the comments, tweets, reactions from either players or especially a lot of people in the golf media space, they're not coming from just the latest stuff that's happened in the last few weeks. It feels way, way deeper than that. And Phil came out, this was from an interview, I believe, in November he did. Alan Shipnuck has a big book coming out, I think in May, on Phil Mickelson, and he has, I think, over 200 interviews. So he obviously went to Phil and said, I have all this information. Do you want to comment? Phil eventually said yes. And in that interview in November, he said, they're scary motherfuckers to get involved with. We know that they killed Jamal Khashoggi and have a horrible record on human rights. They execute people over there for being gay. Knowing all of this, why would I even consider it? Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reshape how the PGA Tour operates. They've been able to get by with manipulative, coercive, strong-arm tactics because we, the players, had no recourse. As nice a guy as Jay Monahan comes across as, unless you have leverage, he won't do what's right. The Saudi money has finally given us that leverage. I'm not sure I even want the SGL to succeed, but that idea of it is allowing us to get things done with the PGA Tour. This obviously sent everybody off, obviously, to the point now where we had Sunday, Dustin Johnson really kind of put one of the final nails in the coffin of this Saudi League situation, where he released a statement through the PGA Tour communications that said he's fully committed to the PGA Tour. Then a few hours later, Bryson DeChambeau, who really had to just be on an island at this point and was like, fuck, everybody's pledging their allegiance. I haven't. He released a statement only in a way that Bryson DeChambeau could, where he didn't really even release or claim anything. But what he did say was, while there has been a lot of speculation for my support for another tour, I want to make it very clear that as long as the best players in the world are playing the PGA Tour, so will I.
The most non-committal statement that anyone has ever put out. He's certainly not standing up against the injustices that the Saudi regime has laid upon people. What he's saying, he's like, all right, well, if all these other guys on tour are going to stick to with the PGA Tour, then I guess I will too. And that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing is becoming one hell of a drama. I mean, what an amazing season to start that Netflix show, to start filming, because can you imagine the behind the scenes of this shit? I mean, it is stunning what is happening. Whenever you say something that Phil Mickelson said, where he said, they're executing gay people over there, but like anytime you say but or because after saying they're executing people for being gay, you got to turn the mic off. You got to really look yourself in the mirror and say, what am I actually fighting for? The PGA Tour is not that important. I love the PGA Tour. I am. I love them. And I think they would say this too. Like, at this point, seeing what Phil Mickelson is saying has turned me off so much to that Saudi league that made me feel legitimately sick to my stomach that, like, I think even Jay Monahan would be like, dude, like, this whole thing's not that important for you to be saying they're executing gay people, but we need to reshape the way the tour operates our contracts. Like, all right, like they all have lives outside of golf. Like, this is real life human rights shit. Like, Phil, it's not that important. We're not marching down the streets of Washington, D.C. so that the PGA Tour can make a little bit more money and have more leverage. Like, you guys have a pretty goddamn good life. What are we actually talking about here? Like, leverage for PGA Tour money? You mean the golf tournament on CBS on Sundays? What are we talking about?
Well, and the things that Phil is saying would make sense if we were dealing with the made-up league that we were talking about last week, the Canadian league that we made up, where there's none of that, where they're not executing gay people, and there's not all this crazy shit about executing journalists. Then what he's saying, people would understand what he's saying. He's like, oh, there's this leverage that it creates that we can then push up on the
free enterprise.
That's right.
And that's what America is built on.
That's all good and fine. But what the league that he is talking about does do those things. So you can't then two-step and say, so, maybe we use this and we sort of push on the PGA Tour. No, dude, you just have to stop. This is not the hill to die on. Like, Phil, he just keeps talking, and the more and more he talks, people are just like, what the fuck is this guy even saying?
I've been very honest about not knowing what actually happens with the Saudi regime. I don't know all the history. I don't know exactly what they do. And I'll be the first to admit that, like, I was even saying, if it comes down to contracts and guaranteed money, how are these guys not going to take it? Watching Phil Mickelson actually lay out exactly what the juxtaposition of, like, what's happening in real life in Saudi, in the Saudi regime, as opposed to, like, what we're going to do in this golf tournament, that made me feel uncomfortable. Like, even talking about the idea of people wanting to go play over there made me feel like I was doing something wrong. Like, that's how bad that comment is by Phil Mickelson. I can't even wrap my head around how that was allowed to be said or, like, published. Like, that ruined Phil Mickelson forever.
And him laying out how aware he is of all of the atrocities that go on over there and where that money is coming from in sort of a justification for why he's entertaining it was optically one of the biggest miscalculations that he's ever had. And I agree with you, Frankie, where when he's laying it out that clearly, yes, we have had the conversation many times. I mean, if somebody offers you $100 million on some personal human level, I think a lot of people would entertain being like, I don't give a fuck where that comes from. That's changing everything. That's changing my entire generation, my life, my family's life. That money's going somewhere. Might as well go to me. I can see people understand. We've had that conversation. If somebody offered Foreplay $100 million to just go cover the Saudi League, it's like, at some point, money fucking talks. That's what this entire world is based upon. When he lays it out that simply, it makes me very proud, I would say, that the PGA Tour players seem to have chosen what is right over what is wrong. And yes, they do make a lot of money on the PGA Tour. They stand to make a lot of money on the PGA Tour. So it's not a difference between making $20 million or $50 million or $100 million and then making zero. But I am very happy that the way the tide started to turn in these last few weeks led to everybody, with maybe the exception of Bryson in his statement, saying, I'm on the side of the PGA Tour. I am with the PGA Tour. When you put it up against what Phil Mickelson laid out and up against, like Frankie just said, the fucking tournaments I'm watching on CBS on Sunday, those are the two things we're comparing.
Who are we fighting for?
It makes it incredibly obvious.
Joaquin Neiman? Like, who are the guys that we are who's Phil standing up for in this scenario that he needs the PGA Tour to be reevaluated and operate? Is he standing up for all those hardworking golfers that are coming up and making millions of dollars because they're fucking good at the game of golf? Or is he standing up for the homosexual people that are getting slaughtered in Saudi Arabia? Who is he actually standing up for? Like, is this... I don't see like a movement from him being like, oh, we just talked to Maurice Allen. Like, he's not going into these like bad areas and making golf more accessible to people. And he's like talking about more money for the PGA Tour players. Am I getting that correctly? That like the guys who already have a lot just want more? Is that what the fight
I also
is?
think it's partially him standing up for his own ego, taking a stance that is dangerous and largely inappropriate that no one else is going to take. But he's like, Phil, and I'm looking at this from an angle that nobody else is looking at, and we can get leverage for the PGA Tour players, when it's the wrong time and place and wrong breakaway league to be making those types of comparisons.
God, it's crazy.
100%. And there's, it's tricky without us knowing everything, or without everyone knowing all of what's going on with Phil Mickelson, because there are significant rumors that Phil Mickelson is essentially broke, that he's lost like all of his money gambling, that a few years ago he famously like sold his plane, and people that know him well were like, his plane was his favorite thing on earth. That's what he loved more than anything. So for him to sell that, he must be going through something. That's all just fucking hearsay to me. But if you factor that into what Phil is all saying, he is trying to get significantly more money from the PGA Tour to go to the players, which he has been successful at. I mean, the PIP program literally exists because of this league. The PIP program got increased from, the $40 million to the $50 million. The Players' Championship purse, I believe now, will be over 2 times what it was in 2014, because the PGA Tour has, due to this leverage and pressure, been forced to up the amount of money that they have that go to the players. And Phil and others have cited that the PGA Tour is by definition a not-for-profit organization. Yet they've got and are making all of this money, and they have full and complete control over, how to allocate it. Meanwhile, they're making it all based on the players. So a lot of that is some combination, or where Phil's motivations come from, are some combination of his ego, of his principal being pissed off that they don't get, the media rights and that they can't have full control. Part of it is probably that he's lost more money than anybody knows, than God knows, despite having, made $500 million in his career throughout endorsements and through his PGA Tour. And he's like, there's some combination of those things going on that is driving Phil, and he keeps trying to finish all of these crazy thoughts and stances that he has with, but it's giving us leverage, and that's all I really care about. And at some level, it's like entertaining all this other stuff for just that leverage. While it has worked, it's probably going to destroy Phil Mickelson's legacy, because I don't know how, when you have statements like the ones that we just said, where they chopped up and murdered a journalist who wrote negative things about their regime, when they execute gay people, and you're saying, but it's giving us a little bit of leverage out there on the PGA Tour, those of us that are already making millions of dollars, from a legacy standpoint, it's going to make it really, really hard for people to get over that. And Rory came out and he said that this league is dead in the water, and then asked about Phil's comments. He said, I don't want to kick someone while he's down, obviously, but I thought they were naive, selfish, egotistical, and ignorant. So Rory did not
Kick,
mix
kick, kick, kick.
words.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't mean
fucking
to kick, and
Ronaldo.
then he just fucking soccer kicked him a million times.
Messi! Just
Well, and
absolutely roasting him.
Rory wouldn't. He's not. He won't take a victory lap on this because he's Rory and he's honorable Rory. But Rory's been saying this for a year. He's like, I'm not taking that money. Nobody should take that money. So now for all these guys to finally come out and say, I'm committed to the PGA Tour, he's got to be like, yeah, dude, I've been saying this for a year.
I believe, I'm going to check right now, but I believe Eamon Lynch, who wrote a scathing article on Phil Mickelson, and one of my favorite pieces I've ever read, just again, we talked about him a lot. He's so good with words, and he is so maniacal, and he is fearless when it comes to just poking the shit out of people. He wrote a scathing piece on Phil, but he also tweeted yesterday, quote, I didn't really like where the money was coming from, end quote. With those words, Rory McIlroy became the first top player to reject the Saudi takeover of golf 717 days ago.
It's 2 years ago.
A couple years ago, Rory came out with those words. I didn't really like where the money was coming from, and ultimately, 2 years later, the thing is dead. And here we are. I will say it's been exciting. We can give it that. It's been riveting.
No other league is dealing with something like this. No other sports league, nobody is dealing with this.
An existential threat to the league is
right.
Almost never happened. I don't even know where that comes from.
North Korean Baseball League offering $1 billion to Giancarlo Stanton.
I guess
pretty much what it is.
I don't totally remember everything that was happening at the time, but the XFL was sort of that way, but not in a controversial way like this, but like
the XFL is like what we kind of want for the PGA Tour if we think the PGA Tour needs some competition. Like that's where I can get behind it. I do think that the PGA Tour needs to change in certain ways. I think players like Phil have, like you said, Riggs, have brought that to light and they've made changes, maybe not the right changes, but they're trying to adapt. It's just, I honestly thought that it might be a good option for people to go do something different and still play in the majors. There's audio of me from the last couple episodes being like, who the fuck would ever turn that down? But when you have the people consciously saying that, I can't get over it. Just knowing all of this, why would I consider it? Because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to reshape how the PGA Tour operates. It makes you just think, like, why the fuck does anyone care about about any of this?
Right. The effect that Phil thought that was going to have actually had the opposite in a big and negative way.
He thought that was the dropping of the mic, saying, you know why I don't care that they're executing gays? Because I'm about to reshape the way the PGA Tour operates. And everyone was going to go like, yeah. No, dude, we don't care at all. We're just going to go play Max Homa tomorrow in a golf match, and we're going to go home, and we don't give a fuck how much money you make. We don't give a fuck.
You know who's really going to ruin their legacy over this is Bryson DeChambeau stealing Tiger's template for announcements. He used the exact same background and font and everything, and it's like, come on, dude, don't do that.
You should be executed for that. If you want to talk about executing,
that was tough.
I mean, that's like ruining my Twitter feed whenever he does that. It's I'm thinking we're going to get
as a Bryson guy, he didn't make the comments that Phil made. He let it kind of ride out, let all these other podcasts that want to break news for a living, like try and speculate what he was going to be doing. And then he said, you know what? I'm taking my foot off the gas. I'm just going to let this thing sail away. This is a problem that I'm no longer have to deal with. And maybe I'll just play on the PGA Tour now that everyone's getting mad at Phil.
Dude, if one other notable golfer, like say DJ, theoretically, feels like I'm going, Bryson's like, I'm hopping on that jet with you. Like, let's just go. His statement says just as much. Like, all right, if the other big dogs are staying, then I guess I'll stay.
I think he's leaving it open so that if there is that Canadian Tour scenario that we said, that he does want to stay open to that, which I think Phil should have just hammered home this entire time, saying like, all right, yeah, we did entertain it because we want to be able to have leverage or whatever. He never should have said the comments he said this time about gay people and the journalists. What he should have said is like, we just needed leverage in some sort of way. I never was considering taking it. Those people are psychotic. They're insane. They're going to murder everyone. And I never want to be associated with them. But like the PGA Tour needs some competition. It's a monopoly, whatever he wants to say. I think Bryson's kind of saying that, saying like, if at any point the PGA, the best golfers in the world are playing somewhere else, I'm going to go there too. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's actually a fair thing to say. I know it's not as open and stern about staying with the PGA Tour, but I don't have any problems with what Bryson said. And
Well,
that's not just because I'm a Bryson guy.
Bryson's amazingly, like Trent said, he's kind of not really been on the record with anything too dicey through all this. There were reports and rumors that he was the guy, that he got offered all the money, that he had signed, that he wasn't playing in these last few tournaments, not because he's injured, but because he's leaving and never going to play on the PGA Tour again. At the end of the day, all we really got was just a fake Tiger looking like press release from him that said, and unless all the big players go to some other league, I'm playing on the PGA Tour. And that's kind of all we got. And yeah, there's a little bit of stuff here and there where he says things like Bryson says them, but he's not anywhere near where Phil is of this whole thing, where Adam Scott is. Adam Scott had some comments saying like he really likes the way that the format looks for the potential Saudi league. But I think Bryson, like you said, Trent, Bryson kind of just wrote it out and is like, I'm just gonna be back in the PGA Tour, no big deal.
I
Which
think
is
it's
surprising. I thought he would be the guy who would put his foot in his mouth, but
I
instead
think it's extremely mean, and we're not allowed to loop Bryson and Phil together in this scenario. He did things much better.
I agree
with that.
I agree with that.
It's one down
the
record.
template.
Very fair.
The template is where he fucked up. That's all.
He did. You can't have the template. Tiger owns the template. It's Tiger's template.
You literally any other color. There's so many colors out there, and he used the exact one.
Great week for our boy. We got to talk about Masterworks real quick, but Tiger, great week, looking phenomenal, looking like $1 billion. Arnold Palmer, who Tiger won his tournament many times. The great Arnold Palmer once said, "Golf is deceptively simple and endlessly complicated." This quote applies to investing as well. Probably sounds easy. Invest your money, watch it grow. But 90% of people lose money in the stock market. So just remember, you can't control the markets. You can control your risk. So how do billionaire investors control their risk? They diversify their portfolios with alternative assets like blue chip art. Most billionaires allocate 10 to 30% of their entire portfolios to art. The simple fact is blue chip art pieces outpace the S&P 500 by 164% from 1995 to 2020. That's why I was so excited when I found Masterworks. This alternative investing platform lets you invest in paintings by legends like Andy Warhol, Monet, Picasso without spending millions. Trent, hit me with the Picasso fact.
Pablo Picasso died in 1973.
Over 300,000 people have signed up, and if you want priority access to their newest paintings, log on to masterworks.art/foreplay. That is masterworks.art/foreplay. See important disclosures at masterworks.io/disclosures. Again, check out the masterworks.art/foreplay. Art's great. I like art. I would like to invest in some art,
I need art, I need art too. I've got a blank canvas, no pun intended, with this house now. Did the whole painting. Shout out to CertaPro of Long Island. My guy Jim had 15 guys in here. I'd never seen. My place looked like a fucking war zone. They painted this house in 3 days. I'd never seen anything like it. They didn't even use tape. These guys are so good. They just did the lines. I don't know. If you're in the market, I don't want to turn this into a CertaPro thing, but it's a hardworking guy. This guy's he's got his own little business here on Long Island. He brings in all these guys and they just paint stuff. Can you imagine painting stuff and not like having streaks? Us three idiots wouldn't be able to paint shit.
No, I painted, maybe it was my brother's room or something with my mom maybe 20 years ago or something.
Probably came out horrible.
My room, the room I painted was just the streakiest room you've ever seen in your entire life.
Bro,
it looked like a fucking art painting the way that I did it.
When you look at a professional company that does paint, it looks like the wall just came in that color. Does that make any sense? Like it looks like this wall is just gray now, as opposed to like someone actually physically did it. So yeah, the fact that people can do that in an art form is nuts to me also. Imagine just drawing and painting and yeah, I'm going to have to do some of that and really start to put some artwork on the walls because it's bare. But Masterworks, I'm going to have to take a look.
All right, Tiger Woods, the Genesis Invitational, Riviera, awesome golf course, just as good as it gets. Everybody raves about it, and it delivers. It looks great on TV. It played a little bit easier this week than in years past, but still a fantastic tournament. Joaquin Niemann became, I think, like the third youngest player to win wire-to-wire with no ties in the history of the PGA Tour. Crazy that he PGA Tour is so crazy in that people could just pop out. It seems like when you win wire to wire at that age like he did, that's like you're just dominating everyone. Yet, a week ago, somebody else was just dominating. A week before that, somebody else was just dominating. So that part's always a little bit weird for me to understand. I get that they're all really good. But he broke through. He crushed it. And then the best part was Tiger Woods just looked awesome this week. On the coverage. He looked great. Strutting up that hill, that really brutal hill, 18 up to the clubhouse at Riviera. For a guy that can't walk, people think he's never going to be able to play again, or there's no way he can play the Masters, no way he could do this or that because he can't walk. He was fucking walking. He's walking great. He's smiling. He's on the coverage. Oh, he's floating.
He was
around.
floating up the stairs.
He looks so happy.
He's fucking.
I've never seen him
smiling.
smile like this. I've never seen him smile like that, and it almost looks like he got work done to his face. Where they've lifted something was pulling his face down over the last couple of years, and obviously last year at the Genesis, we don't like to talk about that, but that whole week was very strange. The way he was doing those interviews, he looked out of it. He looked like he was in a dark place. Turned out he probably was. This year, it looks like there was weight holding his face down originally. Now it's been like lifted up and he's freer. It's almost like it almost looks like he had work done. That's how much different he is. Like he looked 20 times younger. His facial expressions were different. They were lighter, they were higher. His eyebrows went higher, his cheekbones were high. Everything about him looked younger. It was like he was drooping and now he's vibrant. Like he was in a cryo chamber for 10 years and they just like he came out and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm only 25 again."
We may never know what he was actually going through a year ago, but I think whatever he's going through now, he's just less stressed, or like he's at such a better place that I agree. He physically looks different because he's actually happy and smiling. And I mean, for all we know, he's happy and smiling, and that's all we can really ask for. And he seems like, I mean, he made those comments during the broadcast that he's like, I'm going to play again at some point. I don't know when, but I'll be on the PGA Tour at some point. He seems like he's in a good place, and that's good news for us.
He also said he's going to kick. He said he's coming out to kick the other guys' butts, is what Tiger Woods said.
Which is an amazing quote. You hear people all the time say, yeah, that guy, he's looking really good. He stopped drinking, he's eating, he's healthy. Like you hear like I was listening to Joey Diaz was on Rogan. He's a hilarious fucking guy. And they were talking about another comedian. And they're like, yeah, he's like healthy and he's looking good. He looks 10 years younger. That's like what I think about Tiger. Last year, it was like, oh, what is that? Like, we can't have that. That's not our guy. And then now you look at him, he's glowing. He's actually glowing. And it has to be because of the stress. The whole world's off his shoulders with all the bullshit he was probably dealing with, back pain, whatever it was. I couldn't be more excited about where Tiger's now future is. Like the current version of Tiger Woods, I feel very good about.
And think about how exciting it is that we've had so much going on with the PGA Tour with the threats of the other league, which creating all this drama between the players, who's going to go and who's not. Phil Mickelson won a major last year. We got Rory is still Rory, delivering awesome quotes. He won late last year. There's rumors of a Ricky resurgence. Spieth's obviously significantly more back than he's ever been. And then you've also got all the other top players, from Rahm to JT to Morikawa, who's our fucking guy and who's a total savage, who said he basically just dreams about breaking Tiger Woods records. And now we're just gonna add a healthy Tiger Woods to the mix. He's gonna play, let's call it 6 or 7, tournaments a year. He's gonna play some majors. He believes he can win on the PGA Tour. He said he's gonna be playing on the PGA Tour this year. We're just gonna add in, it's already fucking awesome, and we're gonna add in the one man who is by himself better and more entertaining than all of the other stuff combined.
That's true.
Can you imagine if they actually did the Saudi League and they were like revving it up and they were about to have their first tournament, and then Tiger Woods just joined the PGA Tour that same week and just completely dwarfed any hype or momentum that they possibly were building? You have like Phil and Bryson, all these guys in this other league, and then all of a sudden Tiger just shows up to the players and everyone goes fucking bananas, and you're just like, who cares about anyone else that ever did anything in the sport except for this man right here on Channel 2, and he's teeing off at 11 o'clock. I don't care about anything else in my life. That's what was keeping me just going, just knowing that hammer was getting dropped at some point.
That would make Jay Monahan a very happy man. if
Oh,
that
of
happened.
course.
Oh, how about the Players Championship is in like 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, we think he's going to play there or what?
I don't know. I
Well, it's hard to get a read on him now. Well, it always has been, but especially now because he's doing the thing where he sets the bar, he puts the bar on the ground. It's as low as it can be, and then he's hitting balls at the back of the driving range. Like this week, he was very clear in saying, I want to play on the PGA Tour again. I'm going to, but there's a lot of steps that I have to take to make that happen. How much of that do I believe? A good amount of it. But then again, he could just show up at the players and be like, "What's up, motherfuckers? I'm here and I'm playing." So who knows?
Wielding a stealth.
I'm
God.
gonna put it at 50-50 actually. And
But-
he plays the Players Championship.
Wow.
And here's why. And I know it's like, well, if he's gonna play the Players, why wouldn't he have just played this last week at his own tournament at the Genesis? But he's got a horrible record at Riviera. Like he hasn't played that place particularly well. So I don't think he wants to come back to a course necessarily that he hasn't historically played awesome. Having said that, the Players, he has won the Players a couple times. So it's not like he has no success there. His record's not as dominant as his other courses, but the Players is, as a guy that was early on being like, I'm a PGA Tour guy. Players Championship is obviously their flagship event. It's probably the biggest tournament outside of the 4 majors and maybe the Ryder Cup. It's probably so. If he's gonna be like, yeah, I'm selective of events, this would be one that you'd think he'd put on his calendar.
I mean, it'd be amazing. I'm rooting for it. I would hope. 2 weeks away, that would be. Whew, I would be very into that.
I would be very into that too. All right, boys, we got a lot going on. I mentioned Tommy Fleetwood video. We got a little alternate shot action. Tommy Fleetwood teams up with our own Frankie Borelli, the pizza maker, for a couple holes of alternate shot down in Florida. This is a great video.
Let me tell you
Great
something.
video.
It was nervous being in the cart with Tommy Fleetwood, especially after what he just saw last week. You guys saw on YouTube. I just couldn't chip the golf ball. That's on YouTube. It's more people need to go see that because it's at my lowest point. I want you to see me at my lowest point for when I get better. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put in the work. We went straight from the chipping lesson into this alternate shot match, and I was his partner. And yeah, he just I was nervous about how bad I looked, and like I have to now play with Tommy Fleetwood and hit his shots. And man, the most drama, the most intense alternate shot that we could have possibly come across happened, and it's just such a good video. The promo is going to be incredible watching what he ends up doing, and he's so cocky at one point because he's like the Tommy Fleetwood style of cocky, where at one point I asked him if he wants a club, he says his answer is insane, and what he ends up doing is insane. So that's just a little tease. You have to watch this video. Tommy Fleetwood is so amazing. It's our last time with him in this series, so definitely check it out and go subscribe. We need more subscribers. 190,000 subscribers. We're gonna do our all-nighter, trying to get a hole-in-one on PGA Tour. We can all join along, and while Trent tries to get a hole-in-one for 16 hours like we did last time.
Speaking of hole-in-one, my dad made a hole-in-one.
What?
No way.
I want to give a shout out to my dad. Yeah, it happened yesterday.
What?
No way.
Swear to
Mr.
God.
Ryan?
Gary Ryan made a hole-in-one yesterday.
No
I don't understand how you can
way.
have too much bacon, guy.
That's it. He
Where,
made a hole-in-one
dude?
yesterday. I've got it here. I wrote it down.
Holy moly. Congratulations.
Congratulations
That's
to
amazing.
Gary.
Is this his first one?
First one ever. He's 70.
Jesus. Wow.
140-yard par 3, Sunland Springs Golf Club, third hole of the Superstition 9. And I looked up the golf course, and they got 3 9s out there, and one of them is the Superstition 9. Hole-in-one, baby, 140 yards.
No
Amazing.
way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy
Was
cow.
was he glowing? Was he he's made one before just in the simulator, right?
Oh, yeah, at St. Andrews, the real home of golf. He's got a hole-in-one on one of the simulators there. But this
And
is
now
the
he's
first.
got one in real life.
He's got one in real life. Yeah, he'll be, yeah.
What
Awesome.
a fucking world we're living in. That is
The guy-
amazing.
The guy he was playing with took a video of it when he's walking up to the hole and reaching down, grabbing it. And he's like, "Is it your first one?" He's like, "You bet." And hole in one.
Awesome.
So I'm in, where am I right now? I'm in Phoenix, And my parents have a place down in Arizona. They're down here right now. I'm going to have dinner with him sometime this week, him and my mom. So I haven't talked to him about it really. I was texting him a little bit, but I'm going to get all the details when we go to dinner. But yeah, that's something to look forward to all you golfers out there. You can be 70 years old. He'll be 71 in June. You can still get a hole in one.
Holy shit, dude. Holy
Gary
shit.
Ryan.
That is amazing.
First hole in one.
Congratulations, Gary. I hope he had all the bacon you could possibly find. Just go to every supermarket and just clear him out of bacon and just give that man as much bacon as he could possibly have.
He
God,
deserves
that's
it.
great. He does deserve it.
70. That's a lot of years of golf to finally, he deserved it. He earned that one.
Yep. Shout out to Gary.
Shout out to Gary. Congratulations. And then a reminder, too, we've got 1 p.m. at Auction, Southern Dunes. We're playing Max Homa Tuesday. So that is today, again, when people are listening, February 22nd. Come on out if you'd like. The beverage cart's going to follow along. Fans are welcome to kind of hang. Obviously, try to just be respectful, but you can hang. It's a pretty casual environment. And we got a huge golf match. We're 3-0 against PGA Tour. We're 4-0 against PGA Tour and LPGA Tour. We defeated Danielle Kang. And then, we're trying to protect that record against the professional golfers. That's where we're at.
Amazing. I cannot wait. I can't believe we're playing fucking Max Homa in a golf match. He is going to be so ruthless and so mean, and everyone's going to laugh at his jokes because he's the funny man. I hate doing that. I hate when you're with the funny guy in the group, and every time everything we say, he's going to have an answer for. It's like Ryan Whitney. No matter what you say to that man, you're wrong and you're not funny, and he could just say anything and you lose. He has that upper hand on us because he is funnier. He is better golfer. We're going to have to really bring everything we've got tomorrow, tonight, or today, whenever you're listening to this. It's going to be an absolute battle. We have an athletic competition ahead of us as we talk right now.
I'll say one thing about Max that's going to make it a little easier is, Frankie, he's a generous laugher. He laughs at almost everything you say. He's generous. And it's not fake. It's very genuine. He finds a lot of things funny. So I think that'll kind of help us a little bit. But you're right. He's the funny guy. Our camera guys are going to be focused on him. He's kind of the star of the show. We're just here all the time. People are sick of us. We're kind of lame and just the same all the time. And he's going to be like the new funny professional athlete guy with his whole fucking thing and his mustache and his hair. And it's,
we're bringing mustaches.
We're canceling that out. We are canceling out the mustache.
Mine's not looking too hot.
Frankie's is, man, it's so thick. And then I'm gonna shave mine into a mustache here in a few hours when the rest of the boys get here. We're gonna film it.
Trent, are you gonna do handlebar mustache or are you gonna go straight mustache?
I don't know. I'm not like well versed in mustaches. How far do I go?
I think you cut it like right here, and I think you do the fucking whole entire big mustache.
So I leave these parts?
Just a little, yeah. I'd say you leave like an inch right there. Yeah, dude, that would be so badass.
I mean, we'll definitely see what it looks like.
I think that's the answer, dude.
I'll chop it down. I'll chop all this and whatever, and then try to do handlebar mustache.
That's gonna make you look like manly, like you're on a farm up in Iowa, fucking running the show, dude.
Harley Davidson. Just who the hell's that man? That's Trent.
All right.
Ryan.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it later. I'm actually excited about it. That's just gonna be a whole new thing for me.
Yeah, it's gonna be a new trend. I'm excited. We have Matt Duchene on this podcast. I can't wait for people to listen to this.
Me neither. He was excellent. Really good invite. Well, it was a good invite. Glad we invited him, but really good interview and really good insight into, free agency, the mental health side of the game, struggles to triumphs. He's having a great year this year. Their team's good. They're in a battle. He talks about all of that when it matters, and he's a huge golfer. So he gets into golf and Troubadour and being a Nashville guy. So this is a really, really good interview. Before that, head over to petermillar.com/foreplay and do yourself, what I think is a huge favor for you as a person, and explore the Flex Adapt series as well as the complete Peter Millar outerwear line. Use the code FOREPLAY to get complimentary shipping. We all know this time of year brings unpredictable weather. With that comes need for versatile outerwear to protect you from the elements. Nobody, and I mean nobody, does that better than Peter Millar. When you're playing golf and you want to be flexible, you don't want stuff that's restrictive, but you also want to look good. You want to look classy. You want to look stylish. You want to be stylish. Peter Millar's got a ton of options the best options. We're going to be rocking that in our match with Max Homa and really all of our matches. But whether you're heading to town, maybe you're laying up for your next round, do it in style with Peter Millar Performance Outerwear. Head over to petermillar.com/foreplay to explore the Flex Adapt series and their complete outerwear line. Use the code foreplay to receive complimentary shipping. Again, that is petermillar.com/foreplay and use the code foreplay for complimentary shipping. Here is Matt Duchene. Matt, what's up, dude? Where are we? Where are you at?
Just in my basement here in Nash.
Hell yeah. You got a Nashville look to you, I'll say, even.
Thanks, bro.
You kind of look like all the fucking country stars that live in Nashville. They all got the same like hair coming out and the beard and the hat.
Well, I grew up,
dude.
I grew up as Nashville as it could get without being in Nashville. So grew up on hockey, country music, fishing. So hockey, hockey's now Nashville, I guess, big time now, but wasn't, but now it is.
So what was it? Is it Halliburton, Canada? Is that the hometown?
Halliburton, that's it, but yeah.
So like, what's that place like? What was your upbringing with golf? You say it's farmland and country music. Is there a lot of golf to be played? How did you get into the game?
Yeah, so it's not a ton of farmland, but it's like all lake country. So there's a ton of water sports, fishing. You could probably not hit a golf ball without hitting water up there when you're not on the course. But our courses are pretty humble. But I grew up. My dad used to take me to the driving range and grab me a club out of the pro shop. I'd hit with them, and got into that way. Probably started golfing full time when I was about 10. Played pretty regularly up till I was about probably about 18. Yeah, it's probably started my NHL career and then stopped playing pretty much for like 10, 12 years, picked it back up kind of again. I play that, the token, best ball around, or sorry, a scrabble around at a charity tournament or whatever, once or twice a year. And then after the bubble a couple of years ago, when we played in the playoffs there in Edmonton, Yossi took us all out to Troubadour because he has a property out there as well. And I fell in love with the place and got right back into golf. Took my wife there the next week. We were looking at just checking it out and played 9 holes. And then I went home and started playing every week. And I've been hooked again ever since that. So, loving it right now.
If you're going to fall back in love with golf, Troubadour is the spot to do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
Troubadour,
yeah, absolutely.
That spot is just a magical place. Like Cole Swindell, Justin Thomas, you're out there, Chase Rice. It's just like the whole Darius Rucker. I mean, that whole, it just feels like that whole, all of Nashville comes together and hangs at that place, and then it's just magical with the whole setup and the comfort stations and the little cabins full of shit. You can't believe what's in there. What a spot that is.
It's unbelievable. Like I went there and I was just like, wow. Like I remember Ryan Johansson's out there too, one of my teammates. And I remember when we were in Edmonton, we were sitting around one night, just kind of shooting the shit and having a drink and just talking about stuff. And he's a single guy. I'm a guy with 2 kids and stuff, but we're just talking about kind of the future. And Nashville is going to be home for us forever. And Joey's kind of feeling the same way for him. And he had bought out there and he was telling me about it. We're just talking about real estate and stuff. And he was talking about it. I was like, okay, I'll have to check it out when I get home. I was on the website while I was in Edmonton. And then coincidentally, Yost took us there. And I was just like, my God, this place is unbelievable. And it was, when you guys would have played it, it wouldn't have been very done yet. Like the new clubhouse wasn't done or whatever. And like, that's like, what you guys would have seen, that would have been like maybe 20% of it finished. Like the whole back 9, there's no houses on it yet. Actually, they're getting there now. At that time, there's nothing. So, I fell in love with it. Took my wife out there. She loved it. And then started talking with one of the sales reps at the time, who's one of JT's really good buddies. He was the guy who ended up kind of getting me my lot. So end up buying out there, and that's the long game right now. So pretty fun. I was just there this morning actually with the kids, and my kids love it. And my kid was hitting balls for the first time, or I was trying to keep him focused enough to do that. And then I had my little girl swinging a little bit too. So I'm hoping golf's in her future for sure.
Are you like leaning them to be like a righty or a lefty, or you're just letting them, like, how does that process work? Just picking up any random club and seeing how they swing?
I am miffed with my son. I think he's like me. I'm lefty hockey, lefty like baseball. and righty golf.
That's crazy to me.
And
Same.
Anders,
Yeah.
I'm
Anders Lee
identical.
is the
I'm
same way.
identical.
It's
I'm
nuts.
identical.
You do
Yeah.
that as well? Oh yeah, you're lefty.
Yeah, dude, I'm
hockey.
lefty hockey, lefty baseball swing, righty. I write righty. I play golf righty. I do pretty much everything else righty.
That's fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
And I do a weird thing. I'm all over the map. Like I deal cards with my left hand. I fish with my left hand. So, and then, yeah, like I'm kind of all over the map, but my kid,
Everybody's
like,
doing shadow deals right now.
Yeah. It's like this, like what hand do I do?
Fuck, how do I deal cards?
Yeah. When I go when my kid goes to T-ball, he's only 3, but we're starting to really get him into sports, and he's going to start taking skating lessons. Actually, his first one's tomorrow, but he bats left, and all the teachers want to, like the coaches want him to stand. They're like, no, stand over here. And my wife's got to be like, no, he's a lefty. Like I also find too that there's so many more lefties in Canada than the US because of hockey. So most my buddies that shoot left or bat left or, and I feel like in the US, you just get given they say to you like, oh, what hand do you write with? Or what's your dominant hand? They give you a righty stick or club and they say, okay, away you go. So, in Canada, it's obviously different. There's a lot more left-handed golfers. And I actually started, my kid was golfing right this morning. It looked pretty good, but he might be exactly like me. Just like he'll hold like a golf club right-handed, like just because the face is that way, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. But my dad, when he used to take me to the driving range, he would hand me a left-handed club thinking I was a lefty and I couldn't hit the ball. And he'd be like, "Okay, like what the heck's wrong with you? You're good at sports. Like, why can't you hit the golf ball?" And he went in, grabbed me a righty, handed it to me, and I just pounded one down the middle, however many yards you hit at when you're like 8 or 9. He goes, "Oh, okay, you're a righty." So, I can swing good lefty, but like I bend my right arm too much. It's because it's like hockey. You're all in here like hockey, right? And so I don't, Riggs, I don't know if you're the same, but like I slice the hell out of it if I hit lefty. Like I can hit it far, but I can't get like the coordination like through the ball from my left side to my right. And I feel like when I hit right-handed, it's because I'm initiating my swing from back here with the right side of my body and my right leg, which is my like stronger leg, right? So that's kind of what I think, but that's my theory.
Yeah, you're right. Because I'll do I use a spider now, so I can't do it. But when I used to use kind of a typical blade putter that has like the 90-degree angle on the back, if I got in a precarious position, I would turn it around lefty, and I would
like a wedge.
Yeah, because I could hit it like a wedge. It was like made for that. I could close it a little bit, get a little bit of height on it, but I would always have to aim way right because I could only slice the shit out of it. Like you're saying, when I would look at videos of it, I'd be like cringing because my right elbow would break down, it would bend. And I guess I'm just thinking about like if you take a slap shot, it's the same.
Yeah.
You kind of keep everything pretty tight to your chest so you can stick handle it close to you.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't know a ton about like the mechanics of the golf swing, but I do know that your top hand, which is my left, is a righty. You want to keep that pretty strict and straight going back, right? You obviously bend at the top, but like you're not coming in tight to your, you know what I mean? Your elbows out, and you're not coming in tight. So with my stick handle, you're always like this, right? You're always inside. So I saw your mitts on a couple of the clips there from last week. That was pretty nice. A little kick into your skate move there. But
like that going around the goalie.
That was nice, man.
We were having a
but
D-League. It was fucking D-League.
Did you guys score on that play? You dished it back door. Did it go in?
No, it was kind of it was the point of the game with like 30 seconds left. We were winning by like 7 goals. So the goalie decided to do kind of a buffet of bits and come after us. So I decided to do a buffet back and be like, I'm just going to stick handle around you and make you look like a fucking moron. And then you come in and like they got a player in net. You don't want to like score on the player in net because that's weird. So,
you dished it off, eh? That's classic.
Yeah, we were dishing a lot. Me and Frankie had connected for a couple backdoor one-tees.
Well, Matt was like, he was helping me out with all my with all the fundamentals now. So now the next time I go out there, I'm gonna have to do everything he was saying.
Yeah, I was listening to you guys talking about the skating stride, and pretty funny. Like my strength coach is the same guy that like has worked with Crosby since he was like you guys were talking about Sid when they've worked together since they were like 13. Sid was 13, and Sid's got the best sit position in the game. So those two, the trainer I have is like just an expert on that. So I thought I'd fire you a couple notes. Dude, and
that
help
shit
you
is
out a little
fucking
bit.
hard. Like Sid legit, And obviously, you're a really good skater too. Sid legit looks like he's sitting in a chair with perfect posture when he's skating full speed down the ice.
So what I was saying to Frankie is what Andy, our strength coach, teaches is like your shin angle. So like if this is your shin, this is your foot right here coming like that way. So the closer you are to 45, the better. And then your angle from here should be the same. So if you look at Sid,
gotcha.
So like Sid's like one-legged squats or anything he's doing, he gets so low, and it's because his ankles can dorsiflex. So basically, like you bring your knee this way, or if you were take your big toe and point it towards your knee, that's like dorsiflexion. Plantar flexion is like you're straightening your foot. So
my foot almost just didn't even move when I.
So Sid's unbelievable at it. He's like the original like young guy that came into the league at 18 that was like just like in better shape and just moved better than everyone else. And he's just paved the way for everyone coming after. I was like 4 or 5 years after him coming in, but it was amazing just to see the transformation in the league, just guys working on different stuff. And I mean, he's the poster child for like perfect like posture on the ice out there. And he's so strong, and he's just in a better position than everybody else. And I honestly, like, especially earlier in his career, you watch some like how dynamic he was early on compared to everybody else. It's just amazing, and that's what it comes from. So not to get too hockey nerdy and technical on you guys, shit. But that was I love hearing about your game too. I remember one of the first podcasts I listened to, you were talking about catching a puck on your backhand, like full speed coming through the middle of the ice, and I was laughing about that. I was like, oh, if I ever meet him, I'll have to tell him a couple little tricks.
Dude, so for me, the thing I struggle with is when I play golf, and I don't play golf, very well, but at least I know some of the fundamentals to work on. Like I know if I want to hit a draw, how to take the club back, and I know like certain things that you have to do. In hockey, I was telling Riggs, like I just didn't grow up playing. I grew up watching a ton, so I can find myself in the right areas, but I'll never know. I was even asking like the most simple question, like actually, how do you stick handle? Do you have like the toe up? Do you do it on the heel? Like what are the actual things that I have to think about? And the thing I would wonder with you is like, how often are you thinking about the fundamentals when you're playing in an NHL game? Are you actively thinking about your angle, or is it just second nature where you're just like, what to do at this point?
So for me, I'm thinking about everything. My teammates actually give me shit all the time because I'm like kind of the ultimate like hockey nerd. Like, I work with Adam Oates, who's like Hall of Fame guy, has a bunch of guys in the league, and he is the ultimate hockey nerd as well. He's like my personal coach, and we always are talking about like you'll go skate with him, and he talks about like the vibe, like there you go.
Dude, Vinny Lettieri was talking about working with Adam Oates. I think he was like going out to go.
He's like a savant. Yeah. He's like a savant.
It's insane.
He was like, you won't believe this guy. He was saying like the stuff he said. Crazy.
If you guys sat, like my dad, I skated with him this summer. My dad, I said, Dad, come, like you never met Oatsy, and like he had nothing going on. I was actually, it's right around the time I started listening to the pod because I was driving almost 2 hours each way to skate because Ontario was so shut down and there was no ice in my hometown, so I had to skate. Or I had to drive a long way. So I told my dad, hey, jump in the truck, come hang with Oatsy, and I just listened to him talk, and he like. We got in the car after, and he's like, holy shit. Like, actually, Oatsy caddied for a guy on tour for a bit. He's a diehard, like, golf guy. He gives, like, golf lessons, too. Like, you want to get a good guy on the pod, get him on. I'm just putting him on my
list. We got to get this. Yeah, we got to get Oatsy and just call him Oatsy the whole time, too.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But he talks about, like, the vibration in the stick. Like, when you catch a puck, like, you should feel it, like, here. Like, it's like he is so dialed in, and it's like he wants everyone to use a toe curve rather than a heel curve. And I actually, when I started working with him, I had a little more of a heel, and I was using Joe Sakic's curve that he used when he played. It was not the one that you would have bought like in the store. It was more of like a little heel with a little bit of toe.
Yeah, because the one that everybody played in the store was like a pretty hard toe curve, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that's like Oatsy's like favorite curve actually. Is that just that
was the OG, curve, like right when the first like synergy.
The synergy,
out, it was like synergy, the Sakic. Yeah. Everybody had the Sakic.
So
great. And then he stopped playing, and like you couldn't really find them. They started like dwindle away a little bit. And it was like
well, they renamed them.
Looks like a Sakic.
Yeah, they renamed them. I think it was a Naslund and a Bauer, and it was like I think it's a Crosby and a CCM, and like. But anyway, he got me. How he said it was like if I'm going to slide a glass of beer down the bar to you and you're going to catch it, how are you going to catch it? And I said, like this. He's like, well, what shape's a beer glass? Round. What shape's puck? Round. Okay. Why would you ever catch it like this? Like heel curve? Like,
wow, yeah.
I was kind of like, okay. So now I watch guys. I have a couple teammates I always give shit to. They're great players too. But the puck will roll on them every now and then, or they'll go to zip a pass and they got that old jury curve. You remember that one? Looks like a 6-iron. And they'll go to zip a puck and it sails. And it's like, hey, like I'll always say, hey, it's the heel curve. It's the heel curve. I'll give it to them. If you have the toe curve, you're able to sling it more. He talks about like a shortstop, like throwing the ball, to first. He catches it. His hands like this, and you throw it off your back foot. So it's amazing. He studies all the different parts of the game and human body. Like talks about the fingers, like how you hold. You should always, like, some guys will hold their stick like really weird. Like some guys will hold it, the butt ends like here. Some will hold it like here. Like I hold it right here, and he says that's the right way to hold it, because these fingers and your hand here, that's where you get all your strength from. If you think about when you're swinging a golf club, it's kind of the same thing, right? Like you use the top, your top hand, the butt end is usually right about there. I would think.
Yeah.
That's how I grip it anyway. But those are like, if you were to cut off these fingers, like you'd be useless with these two versus like in terms of strength. You know what I mean? So like stuff like that, like I didn't know we were going to get into the Otzi talk. I could talk about him all day because he's been such a good mentor for me. But
I love
yeah,
this
you guys should get him on. You guys should get him on. He'd be so good for the hockey and the golf part of everything, because he's dialed into both.
Lasting longer, boys. That's the secret. That's the goal. You want this cool, intimate experience that you've probably worked really hard. You try to be charming to achieve this situation, and now if it's over real quick, you're not really getting the max out of it. So you want to last longer. I think everybody wants to last longer. You try all kinds of
How do I do
shit.
it? How do I do it?
Roman is how you do it. Romans are the secret to longer lasting sex. Roman can ship swipes to you in discreet, unmarked packaging. Each swipes packet small enough to hide in your wallet. What are you smirking for, Frankie?
Frankie is just such a child that even the topic of sex and sex lasting longer, he just starts smiling like.
It's true. I also thought it was when Michael Scott wants to get the attention of the office, and he just screams sex. Just the way Riggs said sex made me laugh. But yeah, I do. Sex is cool, and it makes me giggle and makes me laugh, and all the things associated with it make me laugh. And the fact that there's something out there that makes that last longer is awesome. Fucking awesome.
It's great. Go to GetRoman.com/Fore to get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That is GetRoman.com/Fore. First month, $5. GetRoman.com/Fore.
Now, have you had a golf lesson where they've done that? Because I just took Brock Nelson to one of my guys around here, and he is an analytic. He loves all the shit that you're talking about. Like, loves everything about it. And he was going crazy about, because where he holds the stick, he was saying he kind of puts the butt end right into here. He actually has in all of his gloves, it's worn out on his glove in like a weird spot, as opposed to most guys.
Oh, really? So he's further up? I mean, most guys wear it like right here.
Maybe
like
that's what he was talking about. I don't know much about it. But
he probably holds it right. Most guys hold it that way, but like I have a teammate who holds it like right here. Like he holds it like this and doesn't even have these fingers on. And I always chirp him. I'm like, hey, you'd shoot a lot harder if you had the whole hand on. He's a hell of a player. He's one of our best passers, so can't give him too much shit. But
one of the funny things is like he couldn't understand. He couldn't understand like how that affected his golf grip, and the teacher was kind of like, all right, like how do you hold a hockey stick? And he did it, and it was just enough off for him to be a little too open, and now it's like you rearrange the grip. So I feel like you would dive into that world. Have you done that yet, where you really go into the swing?
I'm trying to get as good as I can on my own without taking a lesson, and then first of all, 2 kids, I just want to go play, and that's all I have time for. I'm still getting shit when I'm coming home and 5 hours later, and she's like, oh, golf takes 12 hours, like whatever. And it's kind of right. She loves golf too, but yeah, it does. If we do it right, it takes 12 hours, right? But yeah, but I want to, like, I shoot anywhere from 80 to 88 when I'm playing well to really well, and I cannot break freaking 80. I've done it once in my life. I shot 79. I just always make those 2 or 3 or 4 mistakes per 9 that just cost me like those few strokes. You know what I mean? So what used to be my driver was my Achilles heel. I got fitted. And the one thing I've learned about that is it's all the shaft. I can't believe how important the shaft is.
It's crazy.
It's everything. And my driver is maybe my best club now. I'm good around the greens, chipping and putting.
All hockey guys are good.
Usually pretty good. Yeah. It just comes kind of natural, even though I'm a righty. I can chip lefty, but I'll do that every now and then just to work on the brain a little bit, the other side of the brain. But my irons are my issue. I scoop them. Like I'll hit a 9-iron higher than I do far. Like I have to club up. Like my pitching wedge, I should hit like 150. I play at like 135 because it goes so damn high. And so I actually hate hitting most people like obviously like their 8-9 pitching wedge. And for me, it's sorry, another call is coming through. For me, I like my lower irons. Yeah, sorry. For me, I like my lower irons. Like I hit my 4, 5, and 6 probably, and 7. Those are my favorite. The 8-9 pitch, I hate hitting those clubs unless I'm doing like a check pitch where I can just kind of punch it. It drives me nuts. So I got to get lessons on that. I think I scoop up on it at the end a little too much. But
dude, kind of like Lurch. Like Lurch would rather be hitting from like 205 yards than like 140 because he can just rip like a 7-iron 205 yards or something. And then when he gets in, because he hits down on the ball so hard that I think he like struggles to control his yardages and whatnot when he gets in a little bit closer. But long iron, he can dust people because he just pures through the fucking ball from 205 yards out.
Also, if he's saying his driver's his best swing, he might be doing the opposite of what I was doing with my new iron swing, where you're hitting up on your irons just like you are in your drives, and you're not coming down on it. Like we just went to the Kingdom, it was amazing the difference in swings. Because I was like, all right, I'm going to work on my irons. I'm going to have a much better tempo. I'm going to come down on it. I'm going to try and find the slot, whatever the hell that means. And then all of a sudden I'm hitting these drives and like they wouldn't go more than 15 feet off the ground. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And the guy's like, dude, it's a completely different swing. You got to hit. And then we get into the angles that Rory hits 6 degrees up on a ball. It's nuts.
I I was listening to you talk about that and legit thought the same thing. Like I barely miss one of your guys' pods now. I mean, I listen to it every day on the way to the rink
Fucking
and usually
nuts.
home and stuff. Yeah, you guys are, I love it, man. You guys, I got all my buddies into it too. I texted one of my buddies when you asked me to come on the show. He was like, no way. Like, let me know when it's going to be on. Although I don't miss an episode, so I'll probably hear it.
Stupid.
But
I can't believe that exists.
Well, honestly, you guys give yourself shit about not talking golf. I love all the other shit, like the space talk and stuff. I like that stuff too. And I know I'm not getting you down the rabbit hole right now, but like when you guys interviewed the scientists there about the telescope and stuff, like, and then I'm friggin' pissing my pants laughing about you guys talking about that guy that goes to the waste management who's like the dad with the kids, and Lurch was going like, I need this, like, and his wife's all pissed or hitting him with the bags out the door. I was dying. I'm like, yeah, that's me on that trip. Like I'd be right in the mix for sure.
We had so many messages saying like I had to turn it off during that part because it got way too real. Like they were like, I didn't want to hear that. It's almost like your best buddy like kind of sitting you down, being like, dude, you got to start like getting your shit together.
So good. Like I was listening to you guys. I started the one today when you guys were talking about the waste management. I was laughing at the debate of whether you want to be right in there on 16, getting the pints poured on you, or whether you want to be, in the nice suite or whatever. And I was laughing. I was like, geez, me right now, I'd probably take the beer being poured down my forehead by some young kid. But
so, dude, speaking of waste management and fans and crowds. I mean, you play in different barns, as they call it, around the country, around North America. Really, I mean, do fans ever matter? Do they ever get to you? I mean, I understand they matter in terms of like they're loud and there's momentum and all that shit. But like, do you ever really hear anything anybody says?
Only like what your point when you were saying, like, if it's quiet and some random guy yells something, like that would, especially in a golf swing, because every moment of that golf swing, I mean, you're talking yourself in your head, right? You're going
fragile,
through what you're doing.
Fragile.
Yeah. And if you get, I mean, you're this far off, you're missing by 100 yards. You know what it is. An inch is many, many yards in golf. So, I think it would be the same if it was like, hear a pin drop and then, you can't hear, and then all of a sudden somebody yells something. I think it'd be the same. But when everyone's loud, like, I feel like the golfers are probably like that too. Like if everyone's screaming and yelling, it's just like steady noise, but if it's like quiet and then someone just screams something, you'd hear it. But I mean, I love loud arenas. I mean, a few years ago when I was in Columbus, we went on that run when we swept Tampa in the first round. Like, I've never heard arena louder than that game 3 and 4 at home in Columbus when, they have a sneaky good crowd. If you want to go see a good game, a good crowd, like Columbus's crowd in the playoffs is unbelievable. And when we won that series, and even in game 3, it was just bananas. So yeah, like I love the noise. I love the and when the crowd reacts appropriately. Like, it's kind of funny playing Canada versus the US. Like, you go play Montreal and it's like a church, like in terms of like just the vibe and the kind of even the lighting in there. That's a bucket list thing to go see a game, a Habs game, and see a game there. That rink is, even when they skate out to that Coldplay song, like, it's pretty unbelievable. But the crowd just reacts the right way. Like, it's like, because they all know hockey, and then you'll go somewhere where it's just really rowdy, like here in Nashville, like people are getting to know hockey more, so it's people react appropriately. But it's just, my wife sits in the stand. She's like, this place is the best place I've ever watched a game. So everyone's just so happy. Like, everyone just came off Broadway. They're been drinking all day or having a good time, or they're going out to drink later. Everyone's just in a great mood. And we have a diehard following here. It's unbelievable. So, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing that beats a crowd. Like, when I watch that Waste Management, I'm like, these guys got to love this for this week. Like, again, like, I'm not sure if it would be an all the time thing, but man, like, I can't imagine getting on a 16 and like, you miss the green, you get booed. Like, you got to be laughing, like you have to be, and like, you can't take yourself too seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's some guys who really like it, but there's also been guys in the past who avoid that tournament because they don't like it. Like, it really.
Yeah. Who said they don't?
Wasn't there somebody who said that they don't?
I want to say
it?
like Jim Furyk doesn't have a great like. I think Jim Furyk was like, it's just, I don't know. He stays away. I mean, obviously he's older now, but back in the day, I think he kind of had that. I think like Bubba used to have some run-ins, but now he embraces the shit out of it. But I think he at times used to get into it.
Did Rory at one point say something about it too? Or maybe he was talking about playing with Tiger. That's what he was talking about. It wasn't.
I think I remember he said like, yeah, playing with Tiger was like a 2-stroke penalty for every time, every couple rounds you play with him or something. But I think Rory played last year. He played the Waste Management for the first time in a long time, or maybe ever, but it was also a pretty watered down version. And then I also would imagine guys that avoid it probably don't publicly say that they're like avoiding it because it's the Waste Management. They just never fucking play it.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, I talked a lot about how I might not want to be in that crowd, and then I got a lot of DMs and messages after that pod came out yesterday of saying like there's video evidence of me crying inside the Nassau Coliseum as beers were raining down on the ice last year in the last game of the Coliseum against Game 6 against the Lightning. So I mean, like, I literally in the video was like, beers are raining down on me. I was like so happy.
You just like, loved it.
I felt like I literally said it. I told my dad if he had a gun, he could shoot me in the head right at that moment. Just
Frankie, the first time I heard your name was my wife brought it up because she's like, hey, have you seen this guy? He works for Barstool. I'm not sure what thing he's on, but he's like a diehard Islander fan, and he's like, they have a camera on him at the games, and he's just like hilarious to watch. I was like, no, I didn't see it. Didn't really think anything of it. And I started listening to you guys like, oh, okay, that's the guy that was crying at the Islander game.
Yeah, he's a lunatic.
Lunatic.
Yeah.
Tough one this year, but one of the things that I've always liked about you is you've had like your name's always come up as just as a like, I'm just an Islander fan of NHL, and then your name's always coming up in like in free agency and the big guys to acquire. Like, how are you able to kind of maneuver your way around that? And like, how do you make decisions based off of like, we're talking a lot about the Saudi league right now, and like guys wanting to go to another league for a lot more money, and like you have to think about everything, and reputation and honor and all this stuff, and then like you've now found your home. Like, what goes into all of that? I'd really be interested into it because I feel like you've really handled that super well.
Oh, I appreciate it. Well, I'd love to hear some of the Saudi stuff you guys are talking about. I saw that Bryson headline on Zaire Golf, so we can talk about that after. But and then I was hearing you guys talking about the money and stuff. But yeah, for me, so I played. I think it was part of 9 seasons in Colorado, and my wife's from there, and they're my favorite team as a kid. And I was kind of there in the dark days when there was no. Obviously, they've turn it around big time, and they're they have one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league right now. but I was there when, you know, it was tough and it was bleak. And, you know, I was looking at my next couple of years. I was 2 years off my contract. And I'm like, geez, like, I feel like I'm underachieving. I feel like, you know, this is just a tough scenario. I sat down with Joe Sakic, who was my idol as a kid. He's our GM. And I asked for a trade, and it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. And I just said, like, hey, like, and I said, I don't, I like at this point, I can't see myself resigning because this team, like it's in a big time rebuild, and I feel like I need a new opportunity. I got a couple of years left on my deal, and you know, I want to make the best out of it. And then also for you, like I don't want to just leave you high and dry. I don't want to walk away and kind of not you get anything back. Like I want to be up front and let you know where I'm at, and this is what I'm thinking. And took almost a year to make it happen. And because neither of us really in our hearts wanted that situation. And he told me that several times, and which was amazing to, you know, hear your childhood idol, you know, want you to stay, obviously. Right. So, I mean, and I think the world of him still. And, you know, so that was really, really hard. And it still weighs on me at times because I bled burgundy and blue as a kid. And, you know, but I felt that time, you know, it was the right move. And for me, I'd gotten to know Nashville a little bit at the time and fallen in love with the city and just the vibe. They had a great team, great core. And I was like, okay, like if I'm moving on, this is kind of where I want to go. I ended up going to Ottawa, I ended up getting traded to Ottawa, who was actually the other team that I was kind of looking at. When I got there, there was some stuff going on that, and it just tons of conflict within the franchise. And the thing imploded like instantly. And like about a month after I got there, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this isn't probably where I need to be. So then I ended up going to Columbus in a trade at the deadline, because I said I wasn't going to re-sign with Ottawa. And, you know, Columbus disbanded after that. We had a hell of a team I still think could have won the cup. We had Panarin and Bobrovsky and Foligno, Josh Anderson, Cam Atkinson, like that, the whole core of that team, other than like Boone Jenner and Werenski, they're the only two guys there. Seth Jones was there, who I think's, you know, a top 5 D-man in the league at worst. So that was about to implode too. So I was kind of like, okay, like, you know, the way it's kind of being paid for Nashville. And for me, you know, and the advice I give to free agents is like, people that ask me, guys that coming up, haven't been through the process, is what can you control? Well, you can't control how good the team is to a certain extent. You can believe in the core or whatever, but look at Colorado going from, you know, we won 22 games in 2017, and now they almost won 22 games in a row. Like, you look at, it's so hard to predict who's going to win. You see Montreal last year go to the finals, and then this year they're having a tough year. Islanders, same thing. Like, you know, they have a hell of a roster. They're better than.
It's been a bad year.
She's talking.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm empathizing with you because they're better than the year they've had. They had all those COVID issues. They kind of got screwed by that.
Totally.
Like you've talked about. I agree with that big time. So it's so hard to pick a winning team and pick who to go to. So you want to believe in the future, believe in who's running the show, who the coaches are, who the GMs are, although that's interchangeable. And that was something I always believed in Colorado. And it made a really hard decision for me because I did believe in Joe Sakic a lot. I just knew he'd get that thing right eventually. I just didn't know how long it would take. And so the thing is like, hey, like you have a family. Okay, where do I want to live? Do I want to live there in my career? What's my end game? Then obviously the money comes in. Okay, like what are state tax, right? Like we're making more in Nashville with no state tax than playing in New York, right? Like New York, you're paying. Canada, you're paying at the ass. In here, Vegas, Dallas, Florida, like it's different. So you can take a little less and you're still making the same amount. And that actually allows your team to be better too, because you have more cap room. So there's so much to look into. And for me, it's how I look at it is, you know, I've been blessed. God's given me the ability to play this game at this level in the NHL. And I only get one shot at this. I want to be the best I can be, use the gifts he gave me for his glory, and help a team win a Stanley Cup and try and win a Stanley Cup and achieve whatever I can in the meantime. And one of my biggest motivators, and what was really cool about playing in Ottawa with so many Canadian kids in the stands, is like I made the NHL because I looked up to my heroes so much. I looked up to Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Patrick Waugh. Those are my 3 guys. And if without those guys, I wouldn't have had something to like aim at or like say, I want to be that guy. I want to do this. Those guys, like I modeled my game after those guys. And there's still so many parts of my game that you can watch that you're like, okay, like, yeah, I could see a little bit of similarity. Obviously I'm not their level. I would love to get to their level, obviously, but those guys are some of the best players of all time. But, you know, to be that for next generation, I think that should motivate you to the nth degree. And I'm sure some golfers feel that way. And I don't know how many, NHL guys think that deeply about it. I know I definitely do because I was so affected by those guys positively growing up. So, yeah, that's kind of my whole thing going into it. So, and then being here in Nashville, it's just what a city. I mean, you guys I stumbled upon Troubadour, which has been one of the biggest little, unseen blessings in my life, just to have somewhere to go with my family and have my kids be outside. And like we threw my kid's birthday party there and spend time with friends and family. And then, I mean, I live out in Brentwood where it's pretty quiet and really nice neighborhood, but then you can go downtown and hit the best street in North America, so have some drinks, hear some great music. And so it checks all the boxes. So I'm definitely over the moon with where I'm at in terms of my life and with my family. And hockey's been going great this year for everybody here in Nashville. So it's been, we had a couple tough years when I first got here, but it's going great and we just want to keep going. So that's the long
awesome.
version of it. And hopefully that answers your question.
I don't like that this guy's on Nashville, man.
Well, it's one of the best answers we've ever had on the podcast.
These fucking guys. They're in like a great place. Coach Prime is back, and you can stream the live premiere of episode 1 tonight at 8 p.m. on Sling. Is that right? I don't know if that's even right.
I think that is right.
I think
Tuesday
that is
night.
right. That is right.
Oh.
It's tonight. Coach Prime, one of the best highly produced documentaries you'll definitely see from Barstool. There's no doubt about it. Dana Beers basically lived there at Jackson State.
Literally, like immersed himself in the entire situation.
Coach Prime is the most just electric, eccentric person to ever have on camera, and the fact that we have a documentary, just all the things that he's went through this year with his injury, with his foot, and not being able to ever walk again, and all of this stuff. The cameras were there for everything, and Coach Prime is it's something that if it was on Netflix or one of these other streaming platforms, you'd be like messaging your buddies saying you have to watch this new Coach Prime documentary. So the fact that it's on Sling TV, the fact that it's Barstool produced is amazing, and you have to watch it. Season 1 was insane.
So sling.com/Barstool, you can try it out. You can sign up, try it for free. If you love watching live sports, but you're tired of the high prices, it's time to take control of your TV experience. It is time that you get Sling. You can watch exclusive new Barstool content and past episodes of Foreplay, the Foreplay four-man scramble, which obviously we have a new one coming up against Max Homa, the scrambles from the past, the travel series, the podcast episode, all kinds of good stuff on the Barstool channel. Sling is the place where your favorite sports channels like ESPN, Fox Sports 1, TNT, and more come together for last cheapest way to watch Golf Channel. And obviously, that's what we like. We like Golf Channel. Go to sling.com/Barstool to sign up now. Try it free. And don't forget to watch Coach Prime tonight, the live premiere of episode 1, 8 p.m. on Sling, I believe it premieres. So go to sling.com/Barstool to sign up now and try it for free.
You know how cool it's going to be for people like all around, like his former teams, his current team, to be able to hear you just like talk through that, because we don't ever get to see that. It's always just like a Twitter post about like, thank you Colorado for the time there, and it's like you're to hear like you used to bleed burgundy and blue, and like now you're gonna be that Joe Sakic for a kid in Nashville, right? It's like a new age of fandom that's now that they're gonna look for a superstar player to latch on to, and it's like that could be you, and it probably is you, and that's such a cool thing to be able to carry out for the rest of your career, and such a cool look into it. And it's just like that's awesome, man. That's a really great story.
I mean, there's times in my career early on, I came off probably as too intense or too kind of into what I was doing personally to my teammates. I know for a fact I did. And it was just because I had all this kind of pressure that I was putting on myself. And I've learned how to balance that now for sure a lot better. You get a little bit older, you deal with, some stuff of, how you were brought up and how you look at different things, and for better and worse. and you improve as you become more well-rounded person. When I came into the league, hockey was all I knew. My first sip of beer, I was 19 years old, and like it was all about hockey. And now I love to have a good time and get after it. And my dad's I found out my dad is the exact same way later on, early in my career. And that was pretty funny, but early on, I was brought up pretty straight and narrow household. Hockey was all there was. And it took me a minute because I came in at 18. I graduated high school, got drafted, played in the NHL, and I came in kind of the old school. And I was like I'm sure some of my older teammates looked at me like an alien from outer space. Like, what the hell? This little boy is on our team. He doesn't, like, what the heck is he talking about? What's he doing? Like, so I definitely give those guys credit for being patient with me. And it's funny now, we all see the young kids come in and it's a normal thing. So it's funny to see them and kind of have a soft spot for them because we know we're all there too.
That's amazing. Frankie, this guy's got 23 goals and 20 assists in 45 games so far this year.
Yeah, he's having a fantastic year. It's got to be so much fun when things are just clicking. Like, what happens? Like, are you consciously knowing, like, all right, things are just going right now, where it's just a momentum that you're building off each night?
Yeah, it is. You get in a rhythm. I think the biggest part of sports, I've worked a ton on my mental game, and I've dealt with some certain different like kind of issues the last couple of years that I probably had my whole life that I didn't realize. Like I actually, it's probably the first time I'm sharing this publicly, but I found out 2 years ago I had a bad anxiety problem, and it was something that had been with me for a long time, and I didn't really realize it until I had just something happen. It was right after the bubble, actually, in Edmonton, and I've done some awesome treatment. We have a, I know you guys do that one ad for the mental side of stuff.
Help.
And it's, it's so the one psychologist our team hired, our team's been really on the up and up with psychology side of things. And her name's Vicky Woosley, and she's like been a godsend for me, especially last year. I went through some stuff last year that was just really tough. And, it's funny because no one sees it, right? They see you on the ice and it's like, oh, he's got this many goals, he's playing like shit, or like he's playing great. Like, and no one knows what's behind, right? We're just a figurine out on the ice skating around. The same with golfer, right? Like, oh shit, like he fucking shanked that one. Like, what's wrong with him? Like, you know what I mean? You're a hair off mentally for a second. And she actually works with a lot of golfers. She works at Vanderbilt. They have some good up and coming people, and she works with a few pros actually. And she's unbelievable, and she's helped me so much. And it's the mental side of the game is just, so for me, the big thing is like staying in the moment. It's like staying in the moment and playing the game. One thing I even write it on my stick, FNL stands for free and loose. And then number 16, like play like I did when I was 16 years old, like that excitement, that happiness, that stay in the moment, go have fun, do that type of thing. Like if you think about playing anything at 16, like Riggs, whether it was hockey for you or Frankie golf or baseball, like, it's when you're in the moment. And Trent, I'm sure when you broke 100, you were probably dialed right into the moment. But when you're right in that moment, like, and that's all that matters. And you can just focus on, okay, I just got to make contact with the ball and get it on the green. Not quite like you were doing with Fleetwood the other day, Frankie, but that was not in the moment, right? So when you're right in it,
tough one to lead with.
Yeah. So like right now, like, puck's going to the net, and before a game, you'll think, geez, okay, I got to do that again tonight. Like I'm expected to go do that again tonight. Like I want to do it for myself. I want to do it for my team. I'm expected to do it. I'm being paid to do it. So you kind of go there in your head and you go, just shoot it. Just shoot it. Just let your body take over. And you end up scoring a goal, and you kind of do a double take. You're like, holy shit, that went in. Like I just kind of shot it, let the body take over, and oh, wow, that's great. It's one of those things. So that's the best way to go about it. There's no better way to play sports than in the moment. You can drown out all the noise, and it's damn hard a lot of times. And I was having a really hard time with it for years, and I didn't realize it. And that's the key, I think.
It's so raw and real and cool to hear you speak about it that way. It reminds me a lot of Bubba Watson. We had him on, and he dove deep into the same kind of stuff you're talking about, where he's like, I'm out there, I'm inside the ropes, I'm hitting shots, and there's fans yelling. They have no idea what I'm going through, and that, he has bad anxiety about being around a ton of people and being touched by other people, and it makes him really uncomfortable, and all these things that are going on, in his real life. And again, the reason I say it's so raw and real is, people can relate to it because everybody deals with shit, right? You're at the office and whether it's, you got to hammer out a bunch of spreadsheets and then go perform in this meeting. Meanwhile, you might have been up until 4 a.m. that night because of something going on in your real life or personal life, and nobody in the office or in their suits when they walk into that room knows that. Yet you got to kind of deliver and figure your shit out. And I think that's just so relatable to people. So again, hearing that side of it from a top tier professional athlete is fascinating, and I think it gives people probably a lot of hope. Like, oh man, like everybody's a normal person. Everybody's going through shit and trying to learn, life and balance stuff. So I think that's just really cool to hear it from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And some of the most annoying comments you can hear as an athlete is like, "Oh, shut up! Like you're making millions of dollars." Well, I don't come home to my house and go, "Oh, I just," you know what I mean? Like I don't come home to I don't go and drive my car, whatever I'm driving. I drive a pickup, but like I don't go like, "Oh, like this makes me happy." Like it doesn't make you happy, man. It's like the only thing family for me, is everything. And, I love my sport and I love to do what I do, but it also it's the death of me at times. And when things aren't going well and I'm not performing and living up to what I'm capable of, it kills me, and it kills all of us. And I think we all feel that way. And it drives me nuts when people think just because, we make a good living that, are we blessed that way? Absolutely. Do we have less stress in that way than a lot of people? Yeah. But I know a ton of people back home that are working 9 to 5, working with their hands, doing stuff, making a great little living and doing their thing. And they're happier than tons of pro athletes and actors and people like imagine being some of those big actors and having to deal with stalkers. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like,
crazy.
Can you imagine? Like, they're probably like, oh my God, like I give this up right now to just make $100K a year and do my thing and just be with my family. Like, I'm sure there's so many that feel so trapped. That's why they get into, the alcohol and the drugs. They're finding some way to turn to something to take the edge off. So I didn't know we were going to go down the mental health side of things, but
never know.
At the same time,
podcast, baby.
Yeah, honestly, it's such an important thing, and in today's world with social media and everyone's a writer, it's hard to get away from your own press, even if you want to, and you're always hearing things, and people get, there's memes and shit out there I'm not talking about me, but for other people, like you do one thing and all of a sudden it's like everywhere and you're now being laughed at by people that don't even really even care about what you're doing. It's just wild. It's just an amazing world we're living in for better and for worse. Being in the public eye is tougher than ever. So I definitely sympathize with people that are going through stuff and know that I've gone through my own stuff, and most people do. And I mean, most guys on my team, I would say when I started, there was no one working with a psychologist. Now I'd say 75 plus are working with sports psychs. And I know golfers, it's even higher, probably higher than that, because that's such a finicky sport. 1 week you fail more than you succeed, right? Any sport where you fail more than you succeed, your batter in baseball, like you hit 3 out of 10, you're a Hall of Famer, right? Like you're failing most of the time and you're the best at it. Like think about that, So if you don't have someone, you either don't really care, or you're hard as a rock between the ears, where in a good way, like you're just so mentally strong. And some people are blessed that way, but most aren't.
Yeah, it's crazy timing. I mean,
Wow.
I've been dealing with this stuff forever, but we just talked, we did a pre-show little meeting about like what we're doing with foreplay, and I have a series coming up, Fixing Frankie, and I think it's going to be so different for people to be able to see that like it's not all about the driving range and the putting green and the short range. There's a lot of things that, and my hope and my dream for the series is that, yes, it's going to be funny. Yes, hopefully I'm going to become better chipper and short game player, but maybe someone watching it can take something that they learn from that video, whether it be from a sports psych or, someone, a drill sergeant from West Point. I have all these ideas that I want to do. and maybe they can apply it to their own life, whether it be for work or family, and then golf. Like it sounds so serious the way you say it, but like not many people have access to those types of tips, right? So like if we can open up those doors and talk about it, that's why BetterHelp for us, we do those ad reads. Like it's amazing. All you need is like that door to be open just a little bit. You watch a YouTube video here and there. Like all I need is just a tip to just get by. Like that's what I'm always looking for. Is just like tips here and there. How can I make myself better in certain situations? So yeah, it's really interesting and awesome to hear you talk about it so openly. And yeah, I've seen firsthand like what you're saying. Like just a lot of the guys in the league, a lot of guys on tour. It's become just as important as their swing coach. You know, you got to be able to stay mentally strong because you guys are under so much freaking pressure. It's crazy. I put pressure on my teams. Like I'm going crazy watching these games, and like you sometimes forget. Like I've been blessed to be able to know these guys now on a personal level, so I'm better at it. But when I was 14, 15 years old, I would have fucking given them the double bird and been like, how do you not score on that open that one timer? You were wide open, and then I was taught at around like 15 or 16 by this guy, Bernie Cassell. He was the Islanders skills coach. He had like the best hands I've ever seen in my entire life. He was huge for me growing up and watching hockey, but he taught me that there's two teams on the ice, Frank. He would sit at Borelli's. He'd come to Borelli's on away games when he wasn't traveling with the team. We'd watch the games, and he'd say, why are you so mad that the Islanders didn't convert on that offensive chance, and you're not looking at that all-star defenseman that just stepped up on a 2-on-1 and intercepted a pass and shoved it back up the ice, and they scored on a breakaway? Why are you not saying good job defense, but you're just saying boo-hoo offense? And it's totally changed my perception on how to watch the game.
Introducing Wood, a new men's grooming line offering products across hair, body, beard, and shave. With Wood products, you'll look your best, smell your best, and feel your best. Now all you have to do is live your best. We've talked about this stuff because it just came out recently, a few weeks ago or maybe a month ago. It's Barstool backed. We got some absolute wizard in the industry who came up with the best products. I rock, and I said I had my boys in town this weekend. They had all the Wood products in their shower that they were using. They're just like, where the hell did this stuff come from? I said it came from Wood, and it's really, really good. It's the best in the business, and you can go shop Wood at getwood.com or at your local CVS. But I think it's the only stuff I'm ever going to use from now on, gentlemen.
All the products, shampoo, body wash, shaving cream. It's as good as it gets. You got to try it out. You can't just go into these convenience stores and grab whatever you're used to or whatever you think would be best because you saw the commercial. I'm telling you, give this a shot. All you need is to give it a shot once and you're going to be hooked. That's what I did. I love it. The shampoo is amazing. The body wash smells so good. It's completely taken over my shower.
Look at that hair. Look what the shampoo is doing for your hair.
I know. I know. It's fluffy. It's nice. I'm finally not wearing, I don't know. My hair's so curly. That's the thing I'm working with. I'm just going to fucking let it kind of roll out here. But it's nice. It's fucking nice. And you can run your hand. When you give me that massage that we talked about last episode, you can run your hands through my hair and you'll feel it.
I can't wait.
All products, $15 and less. All products are sulfate-free. They've got shampoo and conditioner, body wash, deodorant available in 3 different scents, hair care products, moisturizers, face wash, scrub, all kinds of great stuff. So shop at getwood, getwould.com, or at your local CVS. Check out Wood products.
Oh yeah, there's two. Like it's kind of funny. We'll laugh every now and then. Like coaches will do video and they'll show you stuff and video sessions. Like a negative video session is like Riggs. I'm sure you've been in a few of them. But like yeah, like you know when it's gonna be bad, and it's like the worst thing in the world is seeing is when they click the mouse, and like thankfully this year we haven't had too many of them, but last couple of years we had some tough ones, and every coach does it, and rightfully so. I mean, I'm sure there's some games they're like watching at home and they're sitting in their office and they're taking time away from their family to watch my stupid ass out there blow my defensive coverage or turn the puck over or whatever. And they're going, this fucking guy makes this much money and he just did that. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sure they're thinking that, right? So I know they're thinking that, right? And behind the closed doors, they're probably after periods like, what was that? Like, so the worst thing in the world is when, that computer clicks on, it goes from the screensaver of the video coach's thing up on the big board, and the first clip pulls up and you see number 95 there, and you're like, oh, I remember this. So and you just start cringing, right? So the one thing we do, so on the flip side, there's sometimes where you watch something and you're like, fuck, coach, like they're trying too. They're trying to stop me. They're trying to win too. Like, and also I didn't have, what's going to happen. I should have been here. I didn't know I was supposed to be there because I didn't know what was going to happen. You know the future. This guy's going to get open and score. Actually, this year we played the Islanders, and the first goal of the game was totally my fault. Totally my fault. Like blew my I was back checking. We started watching the play. Stopped skating. Guy skated right by me, and I missed him by like a stride. He put it in the open net, and I was like, okay, like coach was talking about it in between the periods. He didn't call me out by name, but he was saying like, we got to make sure we finish the back check. That first goal, blah blah. And I'm like, yep, fair enough. Like, absolutely my fault all day long. But like in my helmet at the time, you're like, I see the puck there. It looks like we're going to turn it and go the other way. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, there goes my guy. And he's got to step on me. I can't get those steps back. I stopped skating for 1 second. You know what I mean? So it's really funny, both sides. I mean, we see things a certain way, coaches see things another way, but like you're saying, like, do you guys see the play the other day where it was all over social media where Jamie Benn had the open net and put it over the net right in the crease?
Yes.
Like, people probably going nuts. The ice is so bad in Dallas. That's not even on him. He shoots the puck. If you watch the puck, he couldn't shoot it over the net there if he tried without the puck rolling, right? And I'm sure there's armchair, quarterbacks at home screaming out at the TV, but it's like, hey, when the puck rolls, like that old Patrick Stefan clip where he tries to put it in the open net in Edmonton and they go down and score, right? Like that's
literally jumps over his stick at the last second. It's unbelievable.
That's one of the most insane clips of all time.
Yeah, exactly. So like, that's not his fault. If the puck rolls and he goes to put it in, like, he can't control that. So anyway, there's a lot that goes on in all sports. I'm sure, like, you guys were talking about Cantlay's putt hitting the ball, the beer can mark on the green. Like, what's he going to do? He didn't know it was there, So that's the one funny part of the sport that no one obviously knows.
Dude, we had some video sessions. I remember two that stick out. And you are right. The anxiety is sitting there, and one of your bad plays is coming up, right? The coach will go through the whole game, Frankie. Like, they'll literally just do basically from start to finish. They'll be like, we're just going to watch the entire game. And he just stops it whenever he wants to roast somebody for doing something stupid. And you're like, all right, I know something really shitty that I did's coming up. Please don't stop it. Please don't stop it. And then it's just like, you hear the mouse click, stop. And he's like, all right, now here. And you're like, oh, fuck. For the next 5 minutes, I'm going to get chirped. And two of them in college, I'm not going to say which actual coach it was, but two of them, one time in college, I was told by a coach that he could have shot the puck harder with his limp dick. And then another time I was told, or another time we had one of our defensemen, dude, this guy came up in we were in the offensive zone, and their winger got the puck, chipped it off the boards, went right around our D-man, skated in on like a 2-on-1, and they just scored. And he told one of our D-men that the Titanic could have turned quicker than he did. And we all like, it's a dark, shitty time when this negative video, session, and everyone's just like kind of chuckling in the back of the room. He's like, what the fuck are you guys laughing at?
Yeah.
Imagine how long it would take the Titanic to turn around to the blue line and like chase somebody down.
Well, you want to know how messed up we are? That our brand and like our source of income and our livelihoods on Foreplay Pod is to just live off of showing people the negative film room. Like, my life has now become people just laughing at my expense in athletic feats, right? Like, we just put up a 25-minute video of me and my worst moment on the golf course ever. And it's like, ha ha ha, let's fucking click on these things and buy shit. It's like, yeah, dude, I love it. I live for it. But we've had to, like, I didn't grow up knowing that was going to be like my mental, like, I'd have to be so mentally tough that like everything I've ever done wrong on a golf course is going to be like the reason for our success. Like, what are you, fucking crazy? Like,
I'm the worst golfer with the biggest platform. Like, that is that's an impossible position to be in.
So like, our lives are just about negative stuff. Yes, we turn it into a positive. We fucking love it. We love to laugh at ourselves, but that's like something you gotta kind of like learn to do. You're not born to be like, ha ha ha, I suck. It's not like that's
hard,
thing.
Man.
Yeah,
that's something that I've really learned. Like, I did not take, even if it was a joke and it was all in good fun, I was not good at handling that because I just am a prideful guy and think really deeply, feel deeply about everything. And I learned to do that more and more over time. And it's great now. Once you get to a certain point, you're just like, I mean, Craig, you guys lean into it so well. Like, I would be kind of pissed if somebody was coming at me. Like, I know I'm not a good golfer. Like you guys say all the time, like, we know we're not that good. Why are you
very
like
aware.
assaulting
It's,
me?
really obvious.
Why are you assaulting me? Like, what's your handicap? Like, oh, you're a 12. Like, oh, okay, so you're no better. You know, like
It's
so
infuriating. Dude, the guys
like,
the guys on Instagram, I can go about this all day, and obviously it riles me to my core. But the guys who are like, "Get this guy off the pod. We need a better golfer." What? This is the pod. Like the thing that I don't understand is like, what do you mean? What? Getting a better golfer would do what to what pod? This is the pod with these golfers. We are the thing that we made. So why are you saying to sub someone out? And like, the reason why you're seeing what you're seeing is because we made what we made. We are the golfers that we are. There is no substituting anything. We're not trying to achieve any sort of level of golf.
Well, and also insane. The weird mental leap that we've had to make, me in particular, and us all to varying degrees, is that like the worse we are, the more it appeals to a broader audience and the more people like it. So that has been a real mind fuck at times where it's like, I suck. And people are telling me that I suck, but also the videos are doing real well. So it's like, what does that mean? And it's a very weird space to live in.
Yeah. I remember a bunch of my buddies were following your Break 100 series. And I actually texted, we have a group chat like everyone else does with their boys. And I texted them, was like, hey boys, you ever heard this podcast, whatever? And like, then they started getting into it. They started to watch that. And they were like rooting for you. Like, oh, Trent's a beauty. Like, love it. He's right there. Like, you know, like talking about that. And you know what? Like, everyone has that. Like, so I bought, like, I'll give you an example, perfect example. So my one buddy had the yips really bad last year. And my cousin, who's in our friend group, is kind of a new golfer. And it was just like, we just root for them all the time. We use that app, the Grint, so you can follow each other on there, see each other's rounds and stuff. And we always text, hey, great round, so-and-so, or great round, whatever. And I bought the G4 hat that says can't break 100. Yeah. And I'd hand it out. So we'd go play around with the boys. And anytime you played with the boys and you didn't break 100, you had to wear that hat everywhere and on the golf course until you then shot under 100.
I like that.
So we had it passed back and forth. So then, even if you shot 100, if one of the other guys shot 100, it would go to him because he was the newest guy who shot 100. Yes. So we had like a mini kind of like team thing. We went to Muskoka Bay golf course up in Muskoka. It's unbelievable. I think it's top 10 in Canada for sure. It's awesome. And I got like a Sprinter van, filled a Yeti full of pints and some of my tequila soda stuff that I'm part of. And went over there and played like a 2v2 round. And I had a great round. I was all fired up. And I talked to the other group, and my cousin's one of them, and he takes it so damn seriously. Like, he's at the simulator, he's taking lessons, and he's one of those guys that is almost doing too much and he's overthinking it. Yep. And we were just like, Fletty, how'd you shoot? Yeah, Fletty, how you shoot, bud? He goes, the best line. We were giving it to him all day after. He said, dude, I shot 107, but like, I played pretty well. And I was like, dude, you shot 107. You didn't fucking play well. Like, you did not play well. Like, I've seen you play well. You can't say you hit, like, maybe you hit the ball well, but you didn't play well. Like, no. You guys still got a putt and chip. So the whole way back, that was the joke. Be like, hey, 107, but I played well. That was the joke the rest of the day. So yeah, again, he took it really well. yeah. But actually, it might have been 111. It might have been a higher one. Sorry, Fletty. I know you're going to listen to this, buddy.
Boy's getting dogged right now.
He's my cousin. I could be a little harder on him than my. And he's new to golf, so. But man, he'll be at the sim after this pot. I can guarantee you that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh,
yeah, I bet.
Dude, well, I think this was one of those scenarios where I like told you'd come on for 20 minutes and you end up staying for an hour. So I mean, you couldn't be more of like a down to earth awesome dude. Like, this is like I feel bad that we're taking so much of your time.
Oh, buddy, not at all. I had about 10 minutes to spare. My wife was like, "Hey, she knows I'm a talker, man. I can talk all day and shoot the shit and analyze and hot stove, as I call it, like the old satellite hot stove on Hockey Night in Canada. You know, I love doing it, and anything I love. So anytime you guys want to have another hour conversation with the hockey guy who has an anxiety issue and loves golf, just let me know.
We're adding you to the list. You're gonna be a recurring guest. We got to have you back.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime, guys. So really appreciate it. And Yeah, give Oatsy a call. He's gonna give me shit. He's probably I'm gonna get him on to you guys. I'm gonna text and be like, hey, you're gonna get a request from Foreplay to go on their podcast, so be ready for it.
Also,
yeah.
one of the things I want to do is, and we'll see if we can make this happen with schedules and stuff, but I've always had, we have the 4-man scramble, and I love playing against all these guys, but I want to do a ranking system, and we're so tight with like all these professional athletes and teams. I want to see like who's the best 4-man scramble in the NHL, right? So like you grab your best 4 out from Nashville, we get the best 4 from the Islanders, and like we face each one, and we get a ranking system. Like, what'd you guys shoot? How'd you guys beat us? And like I want to do it, and you guys have to be one of our first teams because that would be so much fun.
Yeah, I could get we'll go to Troubadour. I already told you we'd go out there when you guys are in Nashville next. We'll go to Troubadour. It'll be me, Johansson, Yossi for sure, and we'll grab like Colton Sissons or someone else that right in the mix. Or maybe Fabro. Fabro's a good golfer. So yeah, let's do it. You let us know, and maybe after the season or whatever, or in the fall next year, we'll figure it out. We'd love to do that.
Dude, done. Absolutely done.
Awesome, guys.
No brainer. All right, Matt. Thanks, man. We appreciate it. Good
the
luck
time,
this
man.
year.
This
Take it easy on the St. Louis Blues, but other than that,
no, they're good, man. Frig, our division, everyone wins every night. We're on a 3-game losing streak right now, and we're just watching teams blow by us because the Avs, St. Louis, and Minnesota, they don't lose. It's insane.
Just feel like
I've never seen anything like
it. It's
Dallas
like, how is this possible? These teams win.
Yeah, like Dallas beat Colorado last night. Everyone's winning. It's driving us crazy. So we got to get winning again. But thanks, boys. Appreciate it. And yeah, come see a game sometime. I got you guys anytime.
Absolutely, man.
Yep.
Good luck, bro. We'll be in touch.
Thanks, dude.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Sounds good, fellas. All right. Talk to you later.